Hey everyone, my name is Omar Said and I'm the sole developer of Team Vimx Studios. During the Bahrain Game Jam, I developed محيطات الجحيم, which is a visual novel game developed by the Unity engine. A visual novel game is the type of games that depends on the storytelling of a text-based story, while having a few interactive gameplay elements. I decided to make this type of game because I wanted to challenge myself with something new in this game jam, and I also wanted to try and learn the Cinemachine tool in Unity, which is a tool that helps in creating cinematic cutscenes. The story of the game revolves around Abdel Latif, a 50-year-old man who is depressed and desperate from his life. He decides to have some peaceful time in the middle of the ocean with his small boat and diary notes. And of course, after an exhausting day at work, he fell asleep. And he had one of his worst nightmares ever. He started visualizing hell in the middle of the ocean and interpreted these visualizations as a message from his subconscious to end his life. But soon after, he found a light at the end of the road, and he started thinking, what if he interpreted wrong? What if it is a message to desire for life and try again? So he started his journey to this light, and despite his journey was full of dangers, he started encountering some pages from his diary note. These pages contain the most beautiful memories, and reading them will help him to regain his desire of life. And that is how the game is relative to the theme of the game jam, as the main protagonist will start finding some good memories inside of a nightmare. The story of the game is inspired by the unfortunate numerous cases of depression and suicide that I find in social media almost every day. So I decided to imagine a story with a different optimistic ending than these cases used to have. The art and the main character of the game is inspired by a Netflix series that I watched recently called ما وراء الطبيعة, which is also known as Paranormal. Regarding the gameplay, as I mentioned earlier, visual novel games do not focus on gameplay. However, I added some quick and intense adventurous gameplay moments to make the player involved and feel the danger that the main protagonist is encountering. Now, let's discuss the challenges that I faced. The first one and the main challenge for me was developing this type and genre of game in the time frame of a game jam, because this genre requires focusing on the story, thus focusing on a good quality writing. And while writing is not one of my best skills, I had to put huge effort to write involving and consistent dialogues and diary notes that fits the story. This takes us to the second challenge, which is creating cutscenes that makes the player involved in the story. I used Cinemachines to create these cutscenes, and I did my best to deliver some epic cinematic footage that immerse the player in the experience, just like this one. The third challenge was creating an environment that looks and feels like hell. I used many assets, packages, and Unity terrain system to create the environment. But what was really challenging is using the post effect volume in Unity to make the scene looks and feel like hell in a dream. This is a photo of my environment without the post-processing effects that I added. And here are some photos that show the post-processing effects that I used. I use effects like vignette and shadows to resemble the darkness inside the subconscious of our main protagonist. Color correction to give the feeling of hell. Depth of field to add some mystery elements. And finally, chromatic aberration to give the effect of illusion inside the dream. All these effects were added to help the player be immersed into the experience with a suitable moment. Also, another challenge and the fourth challenge for me was finding a suitable 3D character that fits the main protagonist in my story. So I had to design a character by myself, using Adobe Fuse, which helped me in visualizing a character that looks and feels like an old and humble ministry employee. The final and biggest challenge for me was of course building this game with the concept of one-man army, because it was my first time to try this concept in a game jam and it was really challenging, and I am happy I took this challenge. Finally, I would like to thank the moderators of the Bahrain Game Jam for organizing this jam in such a professional way and making this event happen through the hard times we are going through. Thank you.